Namaste. So let's take a moment to come into a comfortable supine position. Make sure you feel comfortable and that you feel warm. Just observing how the body feels today, whether it feels more comfortable for you to rest in your Shavasana today with the legs extended all the way out in front, just releasing through the hips as you sink the toes out to the top two corners of your mat. Taking a bend in the knees, placing the soles of the feet onto the floor. Ensuring that the whole back body feels comfortable. You release through the shoulder blades, sink the shoulder blades down into the earth. Opening the chest. Arranging arms and hands comfortably. Maybe cradling the lower abdomen. Or resting the hands alongside the body. And if it feels okay, allow the eyes to close. We start our yoga class resting, just so that we can welcome this opportunity to turn inwards. Just taking a moment or two to settle down into the physical body. And as we do that, we can observe how the body softens and responds to relaxing in its position resting on the earth. Just try and allow your mind to settle. Releasing any demands from earlier or later today or this week or next week. Here I'd like you to arrange your hands so that one hand rests on your chest and the other hand rests on your belly. And observe here how the hands rise and fall as you inhale and as you exhale. And staying with the observation, see if you can try and lengthen and deepen the breath. Wanting the breath just to grow gradually, not trying to overemphasize any part of your breathing cycle. Just trying here to bring some more volume and space into your lungs, into the body. And as you do that, acknowledge here how your body and how the energy levels feel today. And as we go through our practice today, please feel free to take a break at any time that you need to. Really very carefully, very slowly, just releasing the hands from the chest and from the belly, allowing the arms and hands to rest back alongside the body. And if the knees aren't already bent, start to take a bend in the knees, pressing the soles of the feet onto the floor. And creating some space from our sitting bones to the back of the heels, so make sure the feet are hip width apart. Heels are in line with the knees. Still soften and releasing the shoulder blades down into the earth. Just tuck the chin down towards the chest very gradually, just to keep that lovely length through the spine, up through the neck, up through the crown of the head. Maybe the eyes are still closed. Coming in to start to warm up through the shoulders and the arms. As you inhale, start to take the arms and hands and fingers all the way up towards the sky. Then if it feels comfortable, just take the arms over a little bit further, so overhead. As you exhale, slowly, carefully release the arms and hands to rest back alongside the body. Let's continue that a few rounds. Inhale, take the arms up, and then over if that feels comfortable through the shoulders today. Sensing that we're starting to free up around the shoulder blades, the upper part of the back, freeing up around the chest, and creating that lovely length along the sides of the body. Keeping the movement slow, but imagine the movement with breath. And the next time we inhale, the next time we start to put the arms, hands up and over, we're going to start to gently splay the knees out to the side. So take that diamond shape expression through the knees, the thighs. As we exhale, we close the knees, release the arms and hands to rest back alongside the body. Let's continue. Taking care that we don't start to speed up. Just keeping that warming motion through the shoulders, upper chest, upper back, but starting to open up through the hips. Releasing tension from sitting around the hip flexors, stretching through the tummy, the lower back. Really starting to feel that space around the ribs, around the lungs. That's our last one. Inhaling here, reaching the arms and hands overhead, opening through the knees. As we exhale, close the knees. Release the arms and hands to rest back alongside the body. So rearranging through the feet again. Feet are hip width apart, heels in line with the knees. Maybe readjusting through the lower back, the middle, the upper spine. Still tucking the chin down towards the chest to keep the neck nice and safe. Arms and hands are heavy alongside the body, palms facing downwards. And from here, we're going to come into our thread the needle pose. So keep the sole of the left foot on the floor. Start to take a bend in the right knee and cross that right ankle on top of the left thigh, and then keep the toes pointing up towards the sky. So starting to open up a little bit more through the right inner thigh, the right outer thigh, into that right hip. And this might be enough for you today. If you want to take it one stage further, we're going to come into a new pose called one leg lift. So we're going to inhale here, push down into the left foot, and start to lift the lower back off the mat while still keeping that right ankle crossed on top of the left thigh. As you exhale, release all the way down. So arms and hands are nice and heavy. Keep sinking those shoulder blades down into the earth. And then repeat this. So starting to feel that stretch across the lower back into those core abdominal muscles and firing up through the glutes, particularly the glute max. If it's too much, then just stay in your static thread the needle pose. Let's do a few more here. Really feel that working into the lower back. into the glutes, firing up the glutes, into the hamstrings as well. Let's make this our last one. Inhaling here. As you exhale, releasing the whole of the back body down into the earth. And then taking a moment to uncross that right leg. Maybe rearranging through the feet and the back again. Shoulder blades feel heavy, still tuck the chin in. Keep the sole of the right foot on the floor. Let's cross that left ankle on top of the right thigh. Keep the toes on the left foot pointing up towards the sky. And this might be enough for you today. You might feel happy here how this feels, opening up through the inner and the outer left thigh into the left hip. Or you might want to come into that one leg lift. So inhale here, push down into that right foot. Lift the whole of the back body off the mat. As you exhale, release down. So let's continue that, only if you want to. Pushing the tummy, the centre of the chest up towards the sky, releasing down carefully. That's my knee that you can hear. Take a break if you need to. Just going to do a couple more, another 3. And the last one, inhale here, push down into that right foot, pushing up through the belly, the centre of the chest. As you exhale, releasing all the way down. And then crossing the legs. Let's draw the knees up over the chest. Interlace the fingers around the knees, the shins. Draw the thighs in towards the chest a little bit further and just gently rock from side to side. Ease out the lower back, the belly, into the hips, into the front of the thighs. And feeling that super stretch through the lower back, into the glutes and into the hamstrings that have just worked particularly hard. Bring the knees back to centre, raise your right arm up, keep that right arm elevated as you roll all the way over onto your right side. Rest for a moment with your head on that raised arm. Take a little fuller inhale here, and a little fuller exhale. Slowly, carefully bring some awareness and attention into your left fingers. Your left hand, when you're ready, push down into that hand. Use that hand to steady yourself as you slowly, carefully come all the way up. So we're going to come into a short flow involving Sphinx or into Cobra flow, Cobra pose. So take a moment to reach for your blanket and fold the blanket up. That we're going to lay over the blanket. So we're going to have our bony part of our hips, our pelvis, lying over the blanket. So take a moment just to ensure that you feel comfortable here as you come down to lying on your front. Maybe a few more folds in the blanket if needed. If it feels uncomfortable, there's nothing worse than coming into our cobra, into our sphinx, into our cobra pose, when we're feeling quite sore through the front of our hips and our pubic bone. So take just time here to pad out that area. We want the legs nice and heavy behind us, the top of the feet pushing down into the floor. We're going to bend up the elbows. Now the elbows directly underneath the shoulders, and we're going to just lengthen as we come all the way down to lying down with our forehead on the floor. So the tops of the feet are nice and heavy, feeling the tops of the thighs pushing down into the floor. The pelvis, pubic bone feels comfortable. We're going to take a nice full inhale here. As we do that, we're going to push down to the elbows and forearms, come all the way up. As we exhale, keep lengthening through the spine and release down. So let's do that a couple more times. Inhaling here. Sense how the back feels. If the back starts to feel a little bit sore, then don't come up too high, but keep lengthening, keep extending out of the crown of the head. Exhale. As you come back down, keep lengthening. Couple more here. the shoulder blades down the back. Keep the chest nice and open. Lean very much from the heart space. And this is going to be our last one. Inhaling here. Legs are nice and heavy. Pushing down through the elbows and forearms as you exhale. Lengthening through the spine as you come all the way down. Bend up the elbows. Just rest your head on the back of your hands. And bring the big toes in towards one another. Heels out to the sides. That creates space around the lower back. And those SI joints just opens up the lower back a little bit more. Allow the breathing to return to normal. Turn your head to one side. So bring your forehead back. If you turn your head to one side, bring your forehead back so your forehead's on the back of your hands. Straighten out the legs behind you. Keep the head in this position so the head is nice and heavy on the back of your hands, the elbows are bent. You're going to take a bend in the knees so that the soles of the feet just float up towards the sky. Keep the knees on the floor, on your mat. So we're going to do a windscreen wiper motion through the knees, through the lower part of the legs up into the top of the hips. So we're going to inhale here with the legs to centre. As we exhale, let's start to take both the legs over towards the right. So they probably won't reach the floor, maybe they will do. Inhale, bring the knees back to centre. As you exhale, take both the legs, both the feet, over towards the left. And that slight rotation around the lumbar spine. Let's continue this slowly, carefully, from right to left. If you need to take a break at any time, please do so. Right, this is our last one. Inhale to centre, exhale. As you take both the feet, legs either over towards the left or over towards your right. Bring the knees back to centre. Straighten up the front of the body. Make sure you still feel comfortable resting on the blanket. Feel comfortable through the front of the hips, the pelvis, your pubic bone. And very much releasing still through the whole of the spine, the neck, your forehead on the back of your hands. Coming into crocodile pose here. And we're going to come into Ardha Bakasana, so half frog pose. So this might not suit many of you. If the front of the quads are quite tight, there's not that flexibility through the front of the hips and the quads, this can feel quite a challenging pose. So as an alternative, you'll keep the head on the back of your hands. You're going to see if you can just lift up through the front of that right side of the body. Lift your right thigh, your right leg, your right knee off the mat. And then release down. And then do exactly the same with the left. Keep breathing slowly, carefully as you lift up, breathe into that lift. If you want to come into Ardha Bakasana, the half frog pose, just start to pick up your head and shift the weight over into your left elbow. You're going to release the left leg on the floor behind you, on the mat behind you. And then start to bend up through the right knee. As you bend up through the right knee, you're going to take your right hand behind and see if you can hold on to your right foot. And this very much depends, as I said, on the flexibility through the front of the quads, through the front of the hips. And then see if you can draw that right heel a little bit closer towards the back body. You need that mobility through the shoulder as well, so you see what the shoulder, the right arm, the right shoulder is doing. Keep breathing. Keep leaning into that left forearm, left elbow. Take a break when you need to. Slowly, carefully release through that right leg. If you're doing your crocodile pose, just release totally through the legs. Have the legs behind you on the mat. Bring the big toes towards one another. Releasing through the neck, your forehead on the back of your hands. Catch your breath. If you want to come into that crocodile variation again, keeping the head on the back of your hands. And see if you can lift up through the left thigh, lift the left knee off the mat, push the sole of that foot towards the sky. And then repeating on your right side. If you want to try Ardha Bakasana on the other side, lift your head off your arms, take the weight into your right elbow, right forearm. Release the right leg on the mat behind you. Then you're going to see if you can start to bend up through that left knee. Start to draw the left heel in towards the back of your body as you reach that left arm round. See if you can hold on to that left foot as you start to bring the left heel a little bit closer to the back. So remember, we need that flexibility through the quads, the hips, also through the shoulder and that left arm as you guide that left heel towards the back of your body. Keep breathing. It will become evident in a moment as to why we're stretching through the whole of the front body. Breathing into the super stretch. Inhale here as you exhale, just releasing. If you're in crocodile pose, releasing the legs all the way behind you. Release through the top part of the body. Take your forehead onto the back of your hands. Bending up the elbows still. Catching your breath here. Let's release the hands, start to lift your head up. Let's push up and back into child's pose. So sinking the hips down towards the heels, maybe widening the knees slightly. So you can really mount the heart space down towards the floor, outstretch the arms in front of you, release the forehead. Feel that nice stretch through the lower back. I'm going to walk the arms and hands all the way over to the right. Try and keep the ribs towards the mat, towards the front of your pose here, towards the body as you start to lengthen. You feel that super stretch down the left side, the left back body, left rib cage. Keep the neck and the head releasing. Slowly, carefully walk the arms and hands back to centre. Just allowing the spine to come back to neutral. And then walk the arms and hands all the way round towards the left. So keep pushing the front of the body down towards the mat. Try not to lean up as you move the arms and hands over towards the left. And sensing that space around the right rib cage, around the right back body. Put the arms and hands back to centre, bring the spine back into its lovely neutral position. Inhaling here. As you exhale, slowly, carefully uncurling the spine. Taking a moment to come all the way up. We're going to get ready to come into our tabletop position. Coming into our downward facing dog. So ensure that you've removed your socks unless you've got your special yoga sticky socks on. And come into a comfortable tabletop position. So one of those fingers spread, the wrist directly underneath the shoulders. The inner elbows pointing in towards one another. Look down at the knees, make sure the knees are hip width apart. You've got that lovely length through the spine. So you start to sense that as you extend out through the neck, out through the crown of the head, and push the earth away, creating space from the shoulders to the ears. You're going to tuck the toes under. You're going to shift the weight back into the thighs. When you're ready, push up into your downward facing dog. Make any adjustments through the hands and the feet as you need to. Maybe you need to bend the knees to draw the ribs a little bit closer towards the top of the thighs. Just sense how the body feels in this position. And then from here, let's start to walk the dog slowly. Just stretching out through calf muscles, the ankles, the hamstrings, the back of the legs. If wrists are feel challenged today and then you need to stop, just come down and draw your wrist circles, moving through the wrist, wiggling around through the fingers. Let's come back into our static downward facing dog, and from here we're going to come into a twist. So you're going to shift the weight into the left hand, and you're going to take your right hand to the outer left lower leg, so just below the knee on the outside. And then from here, pull it onto that leg, onto your left leg. Take your gaze underneath your left arm. It's a real challenge. It really challenges the strength in the upper part of the body. Breathe here. Feeling that deep rotation around the middle of the spine, around the rib cage, into the belly. When you're ready, release that right hand down, come back to centre. Let's walk the dog again. So thinking about that quality in our yoga practice of steadiness and ease, and each pose should be attainable with that sense. Let's see if we can do that rotation the other side. Let's shift the weight into the right hand, take your left hand to the outer right lower leg, so just below the right knee. Pull on onto the right calf as you take your gaze underneath your right arm. Again, sensing that stretch around the rib cage, around the belly. Feeling that working into the upper shoulder blade. Let's release that left hand down. Take a break if you need to look after wrists, hands and fingers, or walk the dog. Come back into your static downward facing dog. Bending the knees, releasing through the neck and head. Knees bent, you're going to look towards your hands, either walk the feet towards the hands, hands towards the feet. Keep the knees bent in order for this to work. Come into your lovely forward fold, your Uttanasana. Take the hands to the inner elbows, make a box shape. Draw the ribs towards the thighs, release totally through the neck and the head. So the crown of the head is down towards the mat. From here, gently rock from side to side. Back to centre, release the hands from the elbows, find the front of the shins, around the back of the calf muscles. Have a nice deep rest here into the upper back body. Push down into the feet. Keep breathing as you start to stack each vertebra on top of one another. Fingers, hands and arms are heavy. Keeping the knees bent, really using that core abdominal strength. Keep the spine nice and safe as you stack and come all the way up. Watch your blood pressure. The last thing to come up will be our neck and our head. And then we're able to straighten through the knees, Breaking through the legs. Come to face me on your mats. Let's find our way into a good Tadasana or a mountain pose. So thinking about that quality, or those qualities of ease and steadiness in our yoga pose, even as we stand here in our Tadasana. So just sense a connection of the toes, the four corners of the feet as they push down to the earth. Drawing that Pada Bandha energy up through the feet, up through the legs. Feeling grounded and centered here. As we lengthen through the spine, the sides of the body, soften, release the shoulders, arms alongside the body, and feel that you're extending and lifting all the way out through the crown of the head. Give yourself a moment here. Bringing that awareness of ease and steadiness. Feeling stable and comfortable, and stability in yoga is called stathira. And being comfortable is called sukha. So that each pose that we do should have those elements of stathira and sukha. Let's come into our half sun salutations. Root down through the feet. Inhale as you take the arms and hands and fingers all the way up to the sides. And up towards the sky. As you exhale, push into the feet. Open up through the front of the body as you come into your exhale and your back bend. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, you're going to widen the arms. Come into a nice forward fold. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, hands onto shins just below the knees. A nice flat back as you lengthen out through the spine, reaching out through the crown of the head. Exhale, slide the hands back down the shins. Inhale, swan dive the arms all the way up to the sides. Exhale, palms touch, bring the hands all the way down to heart space in your Anjali Mudra. Let's do a couple more rounds of that. Inhale. Exhale, push down into the feet. Nice back bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, widen the arms, forward fold. Inhale, hands onto shins, flat back, reaching out through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, slide the hands down the shins. Inhale, swan dive the arms all the way up to the sides, palms touch. Exhale, bring the hands all the way down to heart space in your Anjali Mudra. Let's do another 3 of those. So sense that stability through the feet, feeling stable and comfortable, your stathira and your sukha. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, widen the arms, forward fold. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, a nice flat back, hands onto shins, crown the head towards the center of the room. Exhale, forward fold, slide the hands down the shins. Inhale, swan dive the arms all the way up to the sides. Palms touch. Exhale, down to heart space in your Anjali Mudra. So another 2 to do. Inhale. Exhale, back bend, pushed into the feet. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, widen the arms, forward fold. Inhale, hands onto shins, flat back, crown the head towards the center of the room as you reach out through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, slide the hands down the shins. Inhale, swan dive the arms all the way up to the sides. Palms touch. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart space in Anjali Mudra. And our last one. Inhale. Exhale, back bend, push into the feet. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, widen the arms, forward fold. Release the neck and the head. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins. Nice forward fold. long length through the spine, crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, swan dive the arms all the way up to the sides. Palms touch. Exhale down to heart space and gently withdraw. So take a moment here, standing in your Tadasana with your hands at heart space. Soften and release the shoulders. Check how the mind, the body and the breath feels. Allow the breath just to return to normal. Notice if the breath has shifted anywhere in the body. Notice how the legs, the ankles, the feet feel. Sides of the body. Release fingers, hands and arms when you're ready. Come back into your comfortable Tadasana. Rounding through the feet, the four corners of the feet. Drawing that Pada Bandha energy all the way up from the earth through the bodies. Finding that's the Thera and Sukha, our ease and steadiness. And raise the arms all the way up to the sides. Inhale here. Fingers up towards the sky. As we exhale, let's sink down into Utkatasana, our chair pose. Take the arms all the way out. So draw the navel in towards the spine. Sink the tailbone down towards the earth. Then bring the hands together all the way into heart space. Maybe just feel a little bit more comfortable through the feet. Just adjust through the feet as you need to. From here, let's take the right elbow to the outer side of the left knee. And as we pull on that left knee, we can see if we can draw the hands in towards the centre of the chest. We take our gaze over towards the left. We're breathing, don't hold the breath. And then we're going to open the arms and hands. So take the right hand down, take the left arm up. Keep your gaze over towards the left. So that's how this opens up through the chest and the shoulders, reaching out through the fingers. Inhale here. As we exhale, bring the hands back towards one another. Once the palms touch, come back to centre. So if you want to just take a break from here, just stretch out the legs, just come up to standing, bring some movement into the feet. Circle around through the ankles. Or maybe you're still squatting down. Let's take our left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Pull it on the elbow to draw the hands in towards the centre of our chest as we take our gaze over towards the right. Keep breathing. Watch how the back feels. Let's separate the hands. Let's take the right hand up, the left hand down. Open again through the chest. The arms reaching out through the wrists, hands and fingers. Inhale here. As we exhale, bring the palms of the hands towards one another. Once the palms touch, come back to centre. A couple more breaths here. Well done. Keep smiling. Inhale here. As we exhale, slowly, carefully come all the way up. Good. Release fingers and hands and come into a comfortable wide stance. So I'm going to come into Prasarita Padottanasana. So a wide-legged forward fold with a couple of options what to do with the hands and the arms. So as you take your forward fold today, just sense how the back feels at all times, how the neck and the head feel. And we want to come into this element of ease, stability and comfort through the pose. So make sure that you're in a comfortable wide stance. Bring the toes in towards one another. So the heels are out and that's creating that lovely vital space for our lower back to feel comfortable. So you've got a couple of options with the arms and hands. You can keep your hands on your hips. You can take the arms and hands behind you. So finding the inner elbows as you come forward, as we do when we're coming into our Uttanasana. Or you might want to just clasp the hands behind you and draw the hands hands, the lower arms away from you. So that really needs the shoulders, the shoulder blades to feel okay. If there's any tightness or tension in the shoulder blades in the upper neck, it might feel more comfortable to take the hands to the inner elbows, or indeed around the waist. So just decide what variations of the arms that you want to do. Either way, see if you can just draw the shoulder blades down, open up through the chest. Inhale here. As you exhale, take a bend in the knees if you need to. Let's start to come forward. So coming forward in to our forward fold, our Prasarita Padottanasana. Keep the knees bent, sensing that element of ease and steadiness. If you've come into your half forward fold, maybe that feels better for you today. Just breathe here. So whatever variation you have in your hands, we're all going to take our hands to our hips to come out of the pose. Take a nice full inhale here. As you exhale, push down into the feet and start to stack the back up. So maybe bend the knees, stack each vertebrae on top of one another. Really push down into the feet to keep you steady. Your stathira and your sukha. Ease, steadiness, not only going into the pose, staying in the pose, but also coming all the way up. Lovely. And from here, we're going to heel toe all the way back to centre. So our final pose that we're going to come into is our dancer pose. It's a balance and it's a marriage of everything, of strength, flexibility, balance and meditation. So just to serve as a recap, if we've not done this in class before, a dancer pose is when we shift the weight into one foot. And as we do that, we take up the other foot behind us. So I'm going to give you a couple of variations that you can do without coming into the full pose if you don't want to do the full pose today. Keep the knee on that lifted leg down towards the mat. And we're going to raise up through the opposite arm. So we've got that lovely length through the side body. But we're feeling that stretch through the front of the left quad. So this might be enough, or you might be able to find your drishti point as you start to kick that left foot behind and you shift your weight forward. And then all the way out of pose, releasing that left foot down. So I know that there may be some of you that don't want to do that today. You might feel more comfortable just standing in your Tadasana and literally taking a bend in the knee as you reach that foot up behind you, and see if you can reach for that foot, or maybe just tap the heel. And that can be your variation of your dancing pose today, and then swapping sides. Practicing how that feels as you stretch through the front of the legs, trying to keep the knee down. It might be possible for you to find a wall to lean on. And as you lean onto the wall, see if that gives you a little bit more stability. That's the Stathira and Sukha. To take the leg up behind you, draw that heel a little bit closer in towards your lower back, and swap sides. So this is a good alternative to do if you don't want to do the whole standing pose without anything to balance onto. And you can stay here for a good couple of breaths as you try and bring that knee down towards the floor. If you feel that super stretch through the front of the quads. Or you might want to try the balance standing in the middle of your mat, like I've just done. So let's find our Tadasana, or maybe you're just standing here and you're going to see if you can just tap the heel on either side, or maybe you're going to come to your position against the wall to lean onto the wall and see if you can take the foot up behind you. So if you're in the middle of your mat and you want to do the balance without anything to hold on to, find your Tadasana, and always thinking about that, the Stathira and the Sukha, that ease and steadiness, feeling comfortable and able in the pose. Reaching down through the toes, the four corners of the feet. that Padabandha energy up, and the legs are nice and active, kneecaps lifted. Extending all the way up through the spine, out through the crown of the head, soften and release the shoulders. So we're going to shift the weight into the right foot. And as we do that, we're going to see if we can take the left foot up behind us and hold on to the left foot, but draw that left knee down towards the floor. So this might be enough today. You might want to extend out through the right arm. And just see if you can find your drishti point, something you can balance, something you can concentrate on as you balance. Or it might be possible for you to start to lean forward. So really feeling stable through that standing leg as you start to kick that left foot behind you. Reaching that right arm out in front of you, reaching all the way out. If you wobble, don't worry. Breathing into this lovely balance. Sensing that sthira, feeling firm, compact, strong, astute, coming out slowly and controlled. Let's try that on the other side. So find your Tadasana, reaching down through the four corners of the feet, all the toes, legs are nice and energized. Shift the weight into the left foot. Taking a bend in the right knee as you take that right foot behind you, finding the right foot with your hand. And reaching out through the left side of the body, taking that left hand up, fingertips up towards the sky. And maybe this is enough for you today. As you're coming out, and then going back into it. See if you can come into the balance element of this pose. Let's see if you can take that right foot behind. Leaning forward, taking the left arm out in front and thinking of that sukha element. Pose should feel joyful, happy, agreeable. Thinking of this pose as a marriage of all the things that we do in yoga, the development of strength and flexibility, balance, and there's a meditative quality to it as well. Coming out when you're ready. Well done. Release that right foot. Take the hands onto the hips. And let's draw that nice arc through the pelvic bowl. So let's take a bend in the right knee as we shift the weight over towards the left side. And then take a bend in the left knee. Shift the weight over towards the right. So drawing the arc through the pelvis, really releasing. You can feel that releasing into the hips, in the lower back and the belly, into the front and the back of the legs. Working into the ankles as well, into the front of the feet. Everything that we rely on in our yoga practice. Remember, you can make the arcs as small or as big as you like, but slowly rocking from side to side. Couple more. Come back to center, release the hands. Let's get ready for our final Shavasana. So find socks, find a blanket, warm jumper. Make sure that you're comfortable. Make your way down into your supine position for your final relaxation when you're ready. As you come into your final Shavasana, arranging the back body comfortably, arranging through the legs and the feet, the arms and the hands, Allow your body to surrender to the earth. Allowing the back of the neck and the back of the head to feel heavy as they sink down to the floor. Releasing here through the features of your face. Releasing through the scalp, your forehead and eyes, eyebrows, space in between the eyes. Releasing the nose and the cheekbones. Allow yourself just to unclench your jaw, softening your tongue into the base of the mouth. Integration of our practice here today, mind, body, and spirit. The body becomes very open, very ready and eager to change according to the pull that comes from underneath and according to the attraction that comes from the sky. Slowly the perception of the body changes, activated, stimulated by the earth below and the sky above. And the spine is able to unwind and lengthen between these two poles. Carefully and very slowly to bring awareness back into the room and back onto your body, resting on the earth. Allowing some small movements into your hands, fingers, feet and toes. Circling around through the wrists, maybe circling around through the feet and the ankles. Clockwise circles, then anti-clockwise circles. If it feels okay, take the arms up overhead and stretch out through the legs, ankles, feet and toes. Enjoying a lovely full body stretch. And release the arms. Start to think about taking a bend in the knees. Draw the knees up over the chest into a self-embrace, and if it feels comfortable through the lower back, just gently rock from side to side. Bring the knees back to centre. Raise your right arm up. Keep that right arm elevated as you roll all the way over onto your right side. Resting here with your head on that raised arm. And then allow yourself to take a little fuller inhale and a little fuller exhale. Bringing mindful attention into your left finger, to your left hand. When you're ready, push down into that hand. Let's use that hand to steady ourselves as we slowly, carefully come all the way up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me in your yoga practice today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.